Hey, I think we're live. Hey, Barb, can you hear me now? If you do, please do let me know. Oh, hello, Ralph from Canada. How are you? Okay, I think we are going. I just have the guest link on for a moment. If you hear echo, I just want to test that it's working. If you can hear me,
Going.
if you can,
I just have
yeah,
to
I think you guys can hear me.
guess.
Okay, now you hear the echo, now you do not. Say hello and tell me you can hear me and see me. The video is streaming okay, the audio is going okay. And then we'll get started. Hey Barb, hey Ralph, let me know if it's not working. If you have any difficulty with your sound or your video. Hey Matthew, how are you? Ooh, frozen West Virginia, I know. It just has some snow here today in New York City too, so it was really, really windy. And it was quite something to just drag the kids out to school this morning. I think everywhere is cold right now, so awesome, you can hear me. Hey Michelle in Arizona, hello. All right, awesome. Nice to have everybody here, and it's so good to know that I'm not talking to myself. So, welcome. I hope my voice lasts. I have this like weird voice thing that I'm just like got a hairball at the most critical moment. Anytime you encounter an issue, I'll try to check the live chat once in a while. Put that in there or shoot me an email. Just hit reply to any of those reminder emails. Like I said, I will check it once in a while. Hopefully not getting too distracted. So this is Ling, and welcome to the Get Off Your Ass and Become a Published Author webinar. Published Author in 4 weeks webinar. So I hate those webinars that goes on and on and on, and the intro goes on and you don't get to the meat until like 15, 20 minutes later. So I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to dig right in. So it just means that you have less time to see my pretty face, and because I'm going to pull up the slides right now. Bear with me. Okay, screen share. So you should see my screen right now. If you don't, let me know in the live chat, but you should see the first slide on my slide deck. And so here we go. About a month ago, I published my first book, Copywriting Alchemy: Secrets to Turning a Powerful Personal Brand into Content That Sells. It hit number 2 in the small business category in Kindle store when I was doing the free book promo. So not too shabby for a 4-week project during which I didn't lock myself up in a cabin and write for 16 hours a day. At the time of this webinar, there are 10 5-stars review, so not too shabby either, I'd say. The reality is I didn't get famous overnight. I didn't have 3 dozen new clients lining up outside my virtual doorstep within a week. But publishing a book is a long game. It helps you increase visibility and boost credibility, and it keeps on giving. It helps you grow your reach and build a bigger platform. When you get your book on Amazon, which is pretty much a giant search engine with people who are actually looking to buy and read books, you are exposed to new people looking for experts like you every single day. The process helps you put a stake in the ground and claim your expert status. It gives you the opportunity to define your unique positioning in the marketplace. It reveals to you the clarity you already have and turn it into a message you are proud to stand behind. And it's got legs. You can do a free book promotion on Amazon periodically, every 90 days to be precise, which could essentially turn into some sort of relaunch to get your work in front of new people. You can gather feedback and write a second edition. Again, essentially a relaunch that could also raise your profile. You can build a suite of offering based on this body of work. This way, you have a clear sense of what programs or services you should be creating, instead of throwing spaghetti on the wall or being reactive and chasing bright, shiny objects. You can put your book up on other publishing platforms to increase exposure. You can turn your content into different formats to reach a bigger audience or generate more revenue. You can use it to pitch media opportunities and boost your visibility. And to top it off, it's immensely gratifying when you push that publish button or hold the book in your hand. I mean, if you choose to go the paper route as well, paperback route as well. It gives you the confidence to step up and claim your corner in the marketplace. And there's no better time than now to publish your book. Publishing a book is actually getting 1,000 times easier with the various tools and digital publishing platforms that are now available. So why are so many people still talking a good game but sitting on their bum? Well, if you're like me, you might have thought about publishing a book or even started writing some sort of a draft for like 2 years. Well, put in the live chat if you have a draft sitting somewhere. The real reason I didn't get around to publishing that book was kind of silly. It's not really about the writing. I write a ton. It's that everything else, the nitty-gritty of how to take the content and format it into a book file, how to orchestrate the graphic production, the book cover design and editing, how to market the book, how to navigate Amazon and all those other publishing platforms. Well, let me tell you, the first time I tried to convert a book to a .mobi file, which is the file format for Kindle, was a disaster. Well, only if there was someone to show me how to put all these pieces together, that book would probably have happened like 2 years ago. I have a couple of Scrivener files sitting on my hard drive from exactly that time, that long ago, and they've got nothing to do with this book that I just published. Go figure. I wrote Copywriting Alchemy in 4 weeks. It didn't start out in the form of me sitting in front of the computer and saying, oh, I'm going to write a book. So just to give you some background, I'm going to tell the short story. Thread number 1. It all started with a regular run to Prospect Park here in Brooklyn in a sunny day, pre-fall, just like any other run. Usually I listen to podcasts like Tim Ferriss, Freakonomics, TED Radio Hours, Revisionist History and such, not the same old marketing stuff. Well, that day, a personal branding episode on a social media podcast caught my attention, so I gave it a whirl. And something just hit me, like the creative fairy dust or something. I didn't know what that was yet. I went home and I started writing. First as a blog post, then it grew. I thought, man, there's a class there. So I put together the personal branding masterclass, and which, by the way, did really well in the list building department. So put this one aside. Thread number 2. I've looked at a few how to publish and marketing Kindle book thing kind of courses during the past few years. I probably bought a Udemy course here and there and have a few books sitting on my Kindle. Nothing really struck a chord. In fact, some of those approaches feels really sleazy or sloppy to me. Like go on the internet, go look around, copy and paste a bunch of stuff, smoosh them around, see where in the niche that there's a little hole that you can bat your butt into, that kind of thing. Well, so I let all of those things just sit around. And then I've been getting these emails from Creative Live for a while. And one of them was promoting a free live class on the topic of publishing an ebook, a Kindle book. So I thought, why not? I sampled the class and I liked the approach. It's geared towards content creators who already have a ton of content and want to put it together in a book within a short time frame. Nothing epic. It's not like, the be-all, end-all of books. Well, I didn't purchase the class yet until when Thread 1 met Thread 2. Creative Life ran that promo again, and I did a sampling of the class, and the content I have created for the Personal Branding Masterclass came to mind. Bingo, something clicked. I could feel a body of work emerging. I know that's the nudge. I knew I had to kick my own butt to get it done. So I bought the class, have some skin in the game, set a deadline, and went for it. Exactly 4 weeks later, my book was on Amazon. The process isn't much of a mystery, just some elbow grease and a practical plan. Well, I can't help you with the elbow grease part, but I'll show you the week-by-week plan in this webinar. Did you know that I was a project manager wrangling million-dollar website projects for 9 years before I left the corporate world? Well, let's just say I know a thing or two about planning out a project. So now bring us to who the hell am I? So like I said, I'm not going to do all those really, really long intro, but I do want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I call myself the intuitive brainiac, creativity mentor, and copywriting alchemist. Through my unique blend of marketing coaching and content strategy and copywriting process, I help the maverickpreneurs uncover, articulate, and transform their why into content that connects, resonates, and converts. By way of an intuitive yet rigorous iterative process born out of my Harvard Design School training and 15 years experience in the online marketing industry. I'm inbound marketing, content marketing, and email marketing certified. Through my writing engagement with various marketing companies with the goal of driving organic traffic, building relationships, and increasing conversion. I'm well-versed in topics including online marketing, content marketing, e-commerce conversion, user experience, social media marketing, and more. I help coaches, consultants, service professionals, solopreneurs, and small businesses apply these best practices to their specific business models and circumstances. When I am not typing, I am an avid cyclist with OCD, which stands for Obsessive Climbing Disorder. I'm a runner and a chocoholic. So let me just take a quick look at the live chat. I see no complaints, so I'm assuming that everything is okay. And if Angela says my slides aren't changing. So if slides aren't changing, you can try to reload the window to see if you get lucky. Or maybe I just haven't changed the slides for a while. Okay, so before I show you my plan, I want to make sure you actually do it, which means you can't be twirling your thumbs and feeding yourself reasons why you can't be writing your book right now. We need to get honest with ourselves. Let's bust some excuses that has been keeping you sitting on your bum. How's that? So, excuse number 1, I'm not a writer. I don't know how to write. I don't write well. I write slowly. Damn, I failed English in school. I know, there are like 101 reasons you're not a good writer, right? Well, first, let's get clear on what your book is for. It's not an English test. You don't have to get the stamp of approval from your high school English teacher anymore. Right? The job of your book is to get your message out into the world. So keep that in mind. And if you don't publish the book, this message will stay between you and your cat. And you know what? English is my second language. Even though I killed it in SAT and write at native speed speaker proficiency. I do have to look things up time and again to make sure that, I'm getting it right. And Google is awesome for that. If you aren't that good at grammar and stuff, like good news is, there's so many ways you can get help. You can hire an editor or a proofreader for a very reasonable budget. You can team up with people who are also writing a book to edit each other's work. For my own book, I put together an inner circle, or launch team, however you call it, of loyal following to cheer me along and keep me honest. I was pleasantly surprised when quite a few of them, some of whom actually writers and editors, emailed me about typos and errors they spotted in the review copy. Not to mention, there are quite a few online tools, my favorite being Grammarly, to help you identify spelling and grammatical errors. You'll probably learn a few things along the way too. These days, you don't even have to sit down to type up your stuff if you're a chicken typist like my husband, or you have the tendency to freeze in front of a blinking cursor. If you're better at speaking, you can talk your book out, then have it transcribed, or get one of those speech-to-text apps for that purpose. You can even get a friend to interview you so you can let your content flow out conversationally. Unless you're writing something like super academic, most readers actually prefer a conversational tone, so there's no reason to hide behind some stiff, formal writing style anyway. Writing the way you speak is perfectly okay for the most part. This way, your content is actually more easily consumed, and the whole point is you want people to read and consume your content, right? Last but not least, don't forget the mindset piece. There's always that annoying English teacher lurking around, ready to jump up and bite you. There'll always be people who sit around and to pick apart your stuff instead of doing what they gotta do to advance themselves. Screw them. You're the one creating something meaningful. When you create, you don't have time to hate. Excuse number 2, I don't have time. Let me tell you this. Life happens. It always does. Murphy's Law stands. I'm assuming you're not a professional writer, and you're not paid a 6-figure advance so you can lock yourself up in a cabin to write your book. If you wait till you have 4 weeks of uninterrupted time before you start your project, you may have to do it when you turn 85 and retired. During the 4 weeks when I wrote my book, life didn't stop. Kids still needed to go to school and be fed. The entire family was down with a stomach flu for 3 days. I was hit with severe fall allergies and spent a week in Benadryl hangover land. I still had my private clients to write for, and content creation and ghost blogging gigs to work on. Well, here's the good news. A book doesn't need to be long. In fact, many of my readers wrote in to say that they're so happy that my book packs such a punch that they could get a lot of value out of spending just 1 hour to finish reading it. Your goal is to make it easy for your readers to consume your content so you can get the message across and help them achieve the transformation your book is designed to accomplish. Longer isn't necessarily better. You have to get over the fear that a skimpy book makes you look bad. That's your insecurity talking. Let's say you're shooting for 10 to 15,000 words, which take an average adult about an hour to read. That's the equivalent of 10 to 15 1,000-word blog post or a 60 to 90-minute webinar or presentation. It's not a whole lot. You probably already have a good chunk of that sitting somewhere if you have been producing content for a while. The rest is more about discipline. For just 4 weeks in your life, carve out an hour or two during the weekdays and maybe a little bit more over the weekends to work on your book. So in one very intense weekend, I didn't go outside my apartment for, how long was that? Like almost 96 hours. That's like almost 4 days. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, but maybe it was just me being lazy. I was riding on my indoor trainer, so it's not like I just sit on my bum. I think I spent 8 hours on my indoor bike trainer that weekend. So I'm not the lazy bum. So go back to the slides. Prioritize. Get off social media. Save a trip to the grocery store with Amazon Fresh. Just make the time. If you leverage the content you have already created, kick that perfectionism, and crank up your focus for just 4 weeks. You'd be surprised how much you can accomplish, and it'll be so worth it. Excuse number 3, I don't have a message or unique positioning. This is a biggie. But let me tell you this. Nobody is born with a message and a market positioning on a silver platter. We all have to do the work to define our place in this world. The cool thing about the book writing process is that you will be asked to do the clarification as you figure out the nuts and bolts. For example, before you start reading, you would have to look at some books on the market to understand how you're going to add value and contribute to the conversation. Or you have to figure out what your niche is looking for so you can decide on a title that hits a sweet spot, representing the overlap between your message, what's important for you, and the needs of your audience. That could inform your unique positioning in the marketplace. As you write, as you put your thoughts and ideas on paper, clarity will develop. If you just sit around and let those thoughts swirl around in your head, nothing tangible will come out of it. And in fact, you'll probably get more confused and distracted. When you see your ideas take shape, you'll be able to find your golden thread and weave a meaningful narrative around it so you can deliver the message in a way only you can. When you write a book, you have to make sure it's relevant to the reader. This is an opportunity to tell your story in a way that creates meaning for you and your tribe. You need to get clear on how the unique combination of your values, message, life experiences, talents, and skills is delivering value to the people you want to work with and you care about. You may go into the writing process with some sort of inkling or a bunch of ideas and come out with a coherent narrative of how you create meaning and deliver value to your people. And that is the seed to your body of work. Excuse number 4, I don't have the marketing stuff, or promo partner, or social media following, or a giant list, you name it. All the bigwigs and gurus are writing books now, and they have the infrastructure and marketing muscles to do all the fancy things to promote their books. So many people see those elaborate campaigns and think they can't launch if they don't have the capability to do that. Well, the truth is you don't need them. Well, sure, they're nice to have, and you'll probably get yourself a best-selling author title somewhere, label somewhere, if you have more marketing muscle. But really, you can build it up and you don't need it right now. Your book is not the be-all, end-all. Like I mentioned earlier, there's so many ways to make your book keep on giving. So it becomes one of the many ways to grow your following, build your credibility, increase your exposure, and cultivate promotional partnership. You can do a free book promotion on Amazon periodically, or publish a second edition, which could essentially turn into some sort of relaunch when you have the resources to put more marketing muscles behind it. You could build a suite of offering based on this body of work. You could put your book up on other publishing platforms to increase exposure. You could turn your content into hairball, sorry. You could put your book up on other publishing platforms. You could turn your content into different formats, such as a multimedia pack to reach a bigger audience. You could use it to pitch media opportunity and boost your visibility. All these will help you grow your platform and give you the resources to put more marketing muscles behind your next thing. Now that you've figured out the process and learned what works for you, you can roll out your second and third and fourth book to multiply your readership and impact much more easily, if that's the right medium for you. The key here is you gotta start somewhere. Here and now is just as good as anytime and anywhere else. So last excuse, number 5, I am not techie. I hear that a lot. And all I'm going to say is, wake up and crawl out from under that rock. Let me introduce you to the 3 musketeers I used for writing and publishing my book: Evernote, Grammarly, and Pressbooks. Grand total, $20 US. If you can type, click a mouse, and follow instructions, you can publish a book. I mean, from a technical perspective. A while ago, I tried to output a .mobi file, and like I said, it was an absolute disaster. And when I discovered Pressbooks, it became a non-issue. Pressbooks works a whole lot like a WordPress editor. And when you have all your content organized, you just push a button and export the files in Mobi for Kindle, EPUB for most other digital publishing platforms, and PDF for print. That's it. And you can export as many times as you want. So if you spot a mistake, you can always go back and re-export the files. Uploading a book to Amazon could feel intimidating at first. There are quite a few checkboxes and things to consider. But there's nothing technical about those decisions. It mostly involves publishing rights and such. So you just need to follow instruction and do a little research and ask around if necessary. So now you have zero excuse to not get off your bum and publish your book. I just want to quickly check in and let me know if everything is making sense, looking good. Type something on chat to let me know that you are still with me while I take a sip of tea to wash away the hairball. Okay, we are back. Where am I? So now I am going to give you my 4-week plan to show you how I did it. Now remember though, that's what worked for me. This plan that I'm going to share with you is what worked for me. You may have to adjust a few things to make it work for you. For example, you may need a couple more days on one task, and while shaving a day or two from another. You may choose to skip one of the many marketing tactics, and that's totally fine. Do what works for you. The important thing is to get it done while being honest with yourself. Stay in alignment with your message and do good work. Nothing substitutes good work. You'll grow. You'll learn something important about yourself. You'll gain experience and momentum that you won't otherwise get if you just sit on your ass. This is not just about the mechanics of sticking a book up on Amazon. There's a lot of go through the motion kind of $15 online courses out there to show you how to do just that. I'm so passionate about helping you get the book out because it's a very effective way to get clear on what you stand for. Organize your points of view, claim your topic of expertise, and give you a stage to fully and unapologetically express your message. I want you to keep this in mind while we spend the rest of this webinar focusing on the execution. Please remember that execution is just busy work without a solid foundation, a drive fueled by your why. So I talk a lot more about transforming your values, convictions, points of views, experiences, talents, and skills into content in my new book, Copywriting Alchemy. Little plug here. So I'm not going to belabor on it here. If you join the boot camp next month, you will also get a free copy. So speaking of bootcamp, from time to time, I will be mentioning a bootcamp starting next month, during which we'll roll up our sleeve to implement this 4-week process together. Start from setting the foundation with nailing your message and finding the seed to your body of work, all the way to the nuts and bolts of getting your book up on Amazon and beyond. I won't be hard selling for 25 minutes today, and not even 5. I think you know who you are if you have a book right at your fingertip and ready to burst. I want peeps with such a drive and sense of urgency and inevitability in this bootcamp, and I know I don't have to preach to the choir about why you need to write a book. Nor do I want to see excuses why you haven't done your homework on the Facebook group. So, when people join, I want you to really ready to do the work instead of joining because there's a fear of missing out, or, oh my God, I don't know, I got to do it because everybody is doing it. Okay, so now without further ado, we are digging into the 4-week plan. The first half of week 1 is about laying down the groundwork and making sure you are heading the right direction. You set the stage. Book writing is a process that starts with your desire to spread a message that's important to you. This creates the inevitability that drives you forward. Here are a few questions to keep you stay focused, and I recommend keeping the answers handy so you can refer back to them from time to time as you progress through the book to help you stay on track and stay focused. What's your objective for publishing this book? What do you want this book to do for your business? What topic do you want to position yourself as the expert of? What's your unique angle on this topic? What is it about you writing this book that is important and relevant for your readers? Why do they want to listen to you? Who is the ideal reader? What's their story and journey in achieving the results that you promise? What's your ideal relationship with your readers? What does the market look like? You can look around Amazon, notice title, categories, approaches, and see if there's any gap. But I don't like to just back my ass into a gap just because it's there. It has to be meaningful to you as well. What's your sales message? How are you going to convince people to buy and read your book? If you join us for the bootcamp, we'll dig deep into these questions, and you'll have the opportunity to get support from your peer group and from me personally. And at this stage, you also write your outline. This will become your table of content. Your outline should map out the journey that takes your readers from where they are now to where they want to be. It will be shown to potential buyers when they click on the Look Inside on the Amazon page. So you want to make sure it maps to the promise in the title and the sales message of the book, while laying out the journey of transformation. And you write your intro. Yeah, time to write, right? Your intro sets the tone for the rest of the book. You want to pique the reader's interest, so they want to read the rest of the book while making the connection with them so they feel invested in your content. Moreover, Again, this potential buyers can see this section in the look inside function. So you want to make sure your intro articulates the value you deliver in this book, how your book is relevant to them, and why they want to keep reading. Sorry guys, I keep having hairball. So week 1, part 2. This is the fun part, because you are going to bypass the whole staring at a blank screen thing and fill your outline with content. Before you put down anything on paper, I want you to take the outline and map it to one of the writing software or app of your choice. Some people like Scrivener. I think some people use Hemingway, but I use Scrivener personally in the past, but right now I prefer to use Evernote. If you use Evernote, I just set up a notebook and then create one note for each chapter or a section of a chapter, depending on how long it is. You could number them in the order they appear in your outline, so when you sort by ascending order, they will show up in sequence, like so. Now we fill this outline up with content. Unless you're pulling this topic out of thin air and starting from scratch, which I hope you're not, you've probably been creating content that's highly relevant for the topic of this book for a while. All you need to do is comb through your existing content, blog posts, videos, interviews, podcasts, articles, email newsletters, social media posts, webinar or teleseminar scripts, courses you have created, and find the appropriate materials to fill your outline. Just copy and paste all the content into the corresponding sections in the notebook without worrying how they connect or if they're completely making sense yet. Don't go in and tweak the grammar. No, no, no. At this point, you are taking inventory to make sure you are leveraging your existing content as much as possible, so you are not reinventing the wheel. Then towards the end of week 1, you're gonna write the bridge content. This is when you fit all the pieces together and make them tie to each other by writing the content you need to bridge the materials you have gathered so far. You will now look for gaps in the narrative and fill them with bridge content so the book flows cohesively. The existing content you put in the outline may or may not be geared towards the thesis or the big promise you have for the book, so you may need to tweak it and give it the context and position it to make it relevant. Week 2, part 1. As you progress into week 2 and beyond, you'll be working on 2 tracks. One is the book itself, which includes writing, editing, and formatting, and the other is the marketing of the book. Here's a note about the marketing piece. I'm sharing with you what I did personally to promote my book. If it feels like too much or too overwhelming, just dial it back for the initial launch, and you can use a couple more of the tactics when you do another round of promotion, launch a second edition, or launch a new book. Or maybe you have other promotional strategies that better suit your personality, strength, and existing platforms or network. By all means, use those. The key is to get the word out in the most efficient way possible, or effective way possible. And I repeat, you don't have to check all the marketing activities I share with you here off the list. During the first half of week 2, you'll focus on finishing up the bridge content, so the first draft of the book is ready for review. In just a moment, you'll find out why having a PDF review copy early on is beneficial. For the marketing piece, you would spend the first half of week 2 researching and reaching out to promotional partners, as well as rounding up your launch team or inner circle. So let me explain a little bit about each group. Your promo partners are likely to be people with more clout. For example, they have an established audience for their blog on which you can guest post, or they have a podcast and willing to have you on as a guest. You don't have to do any fancy affiliate thing if you don't want to. Many people with a blog or podcast need content, and they're happy to host you if it's a good fit. Plus, when you put your book on Amazon, they can generate their own Amazon affiliate link to direct people to your book and earn the commission that way. Simply reach out, share the excitement you have about your project, and ask for support. You can include your review copy to give them a sense of what your book is about, but don't expect them to read it from start to finish. You'll be surprised how helpful people are. In the bootcamp, I'll share a couple of outreach strategies and my email template that I used to get over 10 promo partners to say yes in just 3 days. Now, move on to talking about the inner circle or launch team. It is made up of your loyal following who will be supporting you throughout the process, write reviews, and help spread the word. I recruited my inner circle in 2 waves. First, I sent a personal email to my past clients and loyal fans. Then I sent a dedicated email to a segment on my email list who have engaged with my content within the previous month. I hit my goal of having 20 people who were willing to actively participate during the 3 to 4 week process, and these folks totally came through and then some. You can communicate with your inner circle once or twice a week, sharing some behind-the-scene content and 1 or 2 action items. For example, ask for feedback on the review copy. Give them social media graphics and pre-written posts to share to generate buzz, and ask them to write a review for your book landing page and on the first day of launch on Amazon. In the bootcamp, I'll give you this simple questionnaire I use to recruit my inner circle and the weekly action items I have for them leading up to the launch. Next. Week 2, Part 2. Now we start the editing process for the book. It's critical that you have other people edit your book. If you hire someone, which can be done fairly inexpensively, you need to be clear about the scope. Do you want them to just proofread for spelling and grammatical error? Or do you need someone to also offer input on the flow of the content and do some extensive editing? Alternatively, you can team up with others who are also writing a book to help each other proofread. It would be fair to find someone who is writing a book of similar length and define in advance what kind of feedback you're looking for. During the bootcamp, participants will have the opportunity to hook up with editing partners during this stage of the process. For the marketing and promotional piece, you'll probably continue to work on recruiting your inner circle, reaching out to promo partners, and maybe scheduling podcast interviews and writing guest posts. Next, it's time to write up and schedule your email marketing. You can share a sneak peek or 2 of your book with your list to whet the appetite as soon as possible in your newsletter. Then line up emails for launch day, as well as the few days afterwards to get your list to purchase your book and leave a review. You'll be writing about, I'd say, 6 emails to your list during the course of a 2 to 3 week span, so really not excessive and very manageable. I mean, if you want to be aggressive, be my guest, but I think 6 is a good number to start. In the bootcamp, I'll share with you the email marketing schedule and the actual content I use for my own book launch. I'll explain the intention behind the content direction so you can adapt it as you see fit. Week 3, Part 1. For the first half of Week 3, you'll continue the editing process. It's also time to nail down your book title and design your book cover. Woo! If you're not a designer, please, please, please get help. Don't slap together a few cheesy clip art and call it a day. If you're hiring someone, you can start the concept development earlier in the process with a placeholder title, and then finalize the title as you get closer to formatting time. In many cases, the final title reveals itself as you work through the content of the book. The magic of the creative process. It's definitely possible to DIY if you honestly have the training or the knack for it and want to give it a whirl. If you do that, I would say keep it simple. In fact, a well-designed type-only book cover can have quite a visual impact. You can see my book cover on the left side, and I designed the whole thing using PicMonkey, of all things. And full disclosure, I do have a design background. Canva, which I like, has some really good template you can use. I'd rather check out one of those templates than going the Fiverr route, to be honest. Your cover design could be clean and legible when shown. It should be clean and legible when shown as thumbnail on an Amazon search. So make sure you view the design in various sizes. Zoom in, zoom out, resize it to make sure that it's legible. Within the sizes that Amazon show on the website. In the bootcamp, I'll show you how I created this type-only cover on a video and share a few graphic design tips. You're also going to put quite a bit of focus on the marketing and promotion activities in week 3. So first is the book landing page. Here's an example. That's my book landing page. You can set up a book landing page on your website so you have a place to direct people prior to the book becoming available on Amazon. You can create a sign up for those who want to get notified when the book is ready for pre-order. When it's ready for pre-order, you can update it with a call to action to pre-order on Amazon. This is the call to action. Where am I? And of course, after the book is launched, you then update the call to action to something like order now on Amazon. There are a few advantages of setting up a landing page instead of sending people directly to Amazon, which of course you can do depending on context and the desired user experience. With a dedicated landing page, you provide a branded experience and have the opportunity to highlight the selling points of your book. You can ask your inner circle members to write a testimonial or book review prior to launch and post it on the landing page as social proof. This is particularly important for the first day or 2 of launch because they won't be able to submit a review until the book is released. Readers also need to purchase the book from their local Amazon site. That's my experience. So for example, those living in England would need to go to amazon.uk. If you are expecting readers from different countries, they may not be able to purchase if you send them to amazon.com, which is the US site. Head spinning yet? Mine is. You can put different buttons pointing to the most common countries your readers reside, for example, US, UK, Australia, etc. Or you can put a note next to your call to action button to tell them to get the book on the local Amazon site. In the future, if you decide to sell the book on other platforms such as Barnes & Noble, iBook, etc., or you want to sell a multimedia pack on sites like Sales, Gumroad, or your very own website, you can then add the link on the book landing page as well. This way, you'll have everything in one place to point people to. Social media assets. You want to create a series of social media graphics and some pre-written posts so you, your inner circle members, and your promo partners can use to spread the word. To keep it simple, and this is how I did it, I created 2 sets of graphics. One set of square proportion, good for Facebook photo post, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. And one set of landscape proportion for Facebook link posts and tweets. There's like all these kind of different social media dimensions. So I just did 2 proportions to keep it simple. You can pull quotes from your book for your social media graphics. It's like simple. I did so while I was proofreading, and I also asked my inner circle for input. You may include a URL on the graphics so people can find out more if they're interested. If you have a book landing page on your website, this could be the perfect place to send people. I'll show you how I did all these social media graphics for my book launch within just a couple of hours using free online tool in the bootcamp. I recommend setting up a file on sites such as Dropbox so you can share the link to the assets with your inner circle and promo partners without having to attach giant files every time. Just make sure you set the folder as view only so people can just grab it off the folder and it's gone. I'll be showing you the nitty-gritty of all these production stuff in the bootcamp, so I'm not going to belabor on it right now. I'm also mindful of the time. We're almost up to the 1 hour mark. Okay, and the next promo activity is the sneaky peek, also known as drip content. You can start this earlier in the process if you have time, but now it's not too late. You can adapt a chapter or a section as a blog post and put it up on your blog. Or you can adapt a chapter as a guest post on other websites. Of course, you want to mention that the content is adapted from your brand new book and let readers know how to learn more about it. You can also put the article up on sites such as LinkedIn posts, Medium, etc. to increase the reach. Moving on, week 3, part 2. Now comes the exciting part. You're formatting your book and getting it ready to upload onto Amazon. I know I sound geeky. Everything is the exciting part. First, you need to know about the file format. For Amazon Kindle, you need to submit a .mobi file. For Nook and iBook and almost all other e-readers, you need an EPUB file. And if you want to make a print book, it's going to be a PDF. Your head spinning yet? Now I deliver the good news. You can get your book all laid out and exported in all these different file formats with a click of a button on Pressbook. It's free to start, and when you're happy with the results, you just pay the $20 so you can export the file without the Pressbook watermarks. It's my new favorite. It's magical. It's totally saved the day. And no, they didn't pay me to say that. It's super easy to use, and I'll make a video to walk you through the whole thing in the bootcamp. Well, not the whole thing, but the interface and the essentials. Now, here's the pro tip. If you install Grammarly Chrome extension, you can do your final proofread while you are formatting your book. 2 birds with 1 stone. Done and done. You should have seen my hour-long happy dance after I had my .mobi file exported. Which brings us to week 4. Now you have the .mobi file. The first thing I want you to do in week 4 is to set up your book on KDP, the Kindle publishing platform, which is Amazon's digital publishing platform. And here's why. It takes about 24 to 48 hours for your book to be approved, and maybe a little bit longer if you're outside of the US. You can make your book available for pre-order, so you can start promoting sooner rather than later. You can see how everything looks on the Amazon page, and if you need to submit changes, which could take up to 24 hours to go live, you have time to spare. No need to panic. You can change pretty much anything after you have submitted the initial information, including the book cover and book file. So as well as the pricing. So there's really no reason not to do it sooner rather than later. If you intend to run a free book promo, you want to make sure you get the timing right. I learned it the hard way. I kept telling everyone my book would be launched on November 22nd and there would be a free book offer. Only to find out that, number one, I cannot activate the free book offer until the book is live. And number two, on the morning of November 22nd, that the free book offer takes a day to activate. So I had to start my free book promo on the 23rd. Now, on the marketing promotional activities, you're going into the home stretch. Oh, we're still here. Book bonus. If you're using your book to grow your audience and build your list, you can consider offering a book bonus. Selling on Amazon is a great way to put you in front of a new audience. However, you can't get the contact info of those who purchase your book. This is where the book bonus comes in as a lead capture mechanism. You can offer a book bonus, a workbook to help your readers put your content into practice. You can offer a free video or a few videos to show your readers how to do certain things. You can provide a checklist or a cheat sheet. The format is secondary. The idea is to take the conversation further and help your readers get more value out of the experience. You have to plan this ahead of time because your book bonus will be complementary to your book's content and you'll need to include the sign-up page URL in your book. However, you don't have to create the bonus or put together the sign-up sequence until you're done with the book and have the bandwidth to set this up. Okay, I got hairball again. Ugh. Okay, social media. You should be sharing about your book and your excitement about it as much as possible without being a nuisance on social media. Schedule some posts, but don't forget real-time interaction. Block off about just 20 minutes a day, 15, 20 minutes a day to make sure it gets done. Remember those social media graphics you created using quotes from the book and the pre-written posts you wrote? It's time to whip them out if you haven't been doing so already. Schedule them on Twitter, post them on Facebook, share on Instagram and Pinterest. Focus on the platforms your ideal clients hang out. Update your social media profiles while you're at it to mention the book and include the link if appropriate. There are many things you could do on social media, and I can't give you an exhaustive checklist. Don't kill yourself trying to do everything everyone says you have to. And don't feel bad if you don't get to check every single thing off the list. You don't have to. Next is your inner circle and promo partners. It's time to give your inner circle and promo partners a nudge. Are the guest posts you submitted and the podcast you recorded ready to go during launch week? Send your inner circle an email to remind them to share. Make sure they have the link to all the resources and make it easy for them to cut and paste and click. And then book sites. I found out about this tactic a little bit late in the game, so I didn't make full use of these sites where you can post about your free book offer. However, you can definitely start doing some research early during the process, so when your book is available on Amazon, you can submit your entry. And bam, launch day. There are a few things you need to do on launch day. You are going to send an email to your list and of course mention the free book promo if you choose to do one. Make sure you test the links and everything looks good before the email goes out. Change the copy and the call to action on your book landing page if it mentions pre-order. And if you're running a free book promo, you can add a timer to your landing page to give the sense of urgency. Reach out to your inner circle and ask them to download the free book and post a review on Amazon as soon as possible. If some of them have already sent you a review for use on your landing page, send them a personal email with the review there in the email body so they can just cut and paste onto Amazon. The less friction there is, the more likely it gets done quick. Well, go scream a little bit on social media. It is a big thing, and you should be proud of yourself. It is your big day. In the bootcamp, I'll walk you through the details of each of these promotional activities I mentioned here, and you also get a launch day checklist so nothing falls through the crack. So now what? Post-launch. What happens after the launch? Of course, you want the book to keep on giving. Like I mentioned earlier, there are many ways you can leverage the book to boost your credibility, increase your visibility, and build your platform. So it's not once and done. Just keep making sure that it keeps on giving. Okay, so there you have it. Everything I did to launch my book in 4 weeks. Very doable. So let me know in chat if you have any question, if you have any thoughts, any insights, any aha moments while I wash down the hairball. Okay. Now, before I tell you about the bootcamp that I've been mentioning, I want to tell you my intention behind this offering. Ooh. Okay, someone with no name says, when does bootcamp registration close? It's opening and the bootcamp starts in January, so it will be open until then. But I will tell you the details and why you want to get in sooner rather than later. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Valley. Very helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good to know that it has been helpful. So let me tell you a little bit about this bootcamp and my intention behind it. It's important because if my intention doesn't appeal to you, if you're just looking for a cookie cutter plan so you can color inside the line, this is not for you anyway. As I was writing my book, it became clear to me that what truly makes me tick is to help my maverickpreneur peeps find their writing voice and express their values, personalities, and expertise through copywriting and content marketing. It's always been about the honest and fullest expression of your ideas, values, convictions through the lens of your expertise and your business. Writing a book is not about the creation of the final product. It's a growth process in and of itself. It's a journey through which we get to sow the seeds of our body of work. You can sit around and read about writing. But if you want to get good, if you want to finally find your voice and nail the expression, you have to get off your bum and do it. Experiment, iterate, refine. Embrace experimentation as you try different things to see what brings forth your values, convictions, personality, and strength. To do so, you can't put yourself in a box and mechanically execute. If you're still with me, here's the reason why I'm not selling you a $9.99 course or even a $2.97 program. I don't want this program to be one of those $19.97 thing, cost you an arm and a leg, that take the entire 3 months out of your life, so much at stake, and you feel like you have to follow everything and color inside the line. I want to give you a framework, marketing ideas, and a timeline, but also encourage experimentation to help you define what works for you. This is your expression. This is your stage. If you hit number 2 or number 5 instead of number 1, geez, no big deal. You iron out some kinks and maybe repeat this 4-week process with another book. You keep doing it. This is how you get good. This is how you accumulate your body of work. If you make it a constant struggle, take it too seriously, fall flat, and get intimidated by the long, laborious process, so you're reluctant to do it all over again, then your message may die inside of you. It's about finding your expression for your body of work. You need to do it instead of thinking about doing it to know if it's the best way to express your message and your strength. If writing a book is not your thing, I don't want you to bang your head on the wall because you just dumped a whole lot of money into a course that's of no use to you. So I'm doing the pricing a little differently, which I'll share with you in just a moment. You just listen to the entire process. I'll take you through, so I'm not going to say it again. You can see the details on the page anyway, on the program detail page anyway. The focus is on the implementation of the process and to give you the support to keep the process fun and to keep you honest. Each week, you'll get a digestible chunk of mostly how-to content, supplemented by demo videos when appropriate. You'll get action items for the week, with the primary goal of getting the book written and published, and the secondary goal of marketing and promoting the book. I assume that you have the basic knowledge to set up things like email marketing, lead capture, landing pages, etc. You have the help to do so, because I won't be walking you through the mechanics of those activities. The actual book writing, marketing, and publishing process is 4 weeks. However, I'm making the bootcamp a 6-week process, and this is why. A 6-week bootcamp. Something like that. Like I mentioned before, this is not just a check it off the list kind of busy work. I take the creative process very seriously, and I want this process to inform your body of work. I want us to spend the first week to get clear on your topic so it truly fuels you and is meaningful to you. You figure out what your angle is and what unique contribution you are bringing to the conversation, how you relate to your audience, and how your writing voice is, what your writing voice is, and validate the transformation you promise so you can keep your content focused. Everything we do will be grounded in the concept of honest marketing and doing good work. I want to make sure we set the stage for creating meaning and delivering value during the 4 week when we write, publish, and market your book. Then what happens after the book is released? I always ask that. In many creative processes that I went through, I always dread the, kind of that zero gravity place that happens right after the project is delivered. It's like, nah, okay, that happened. Now what? And then I go brain dead for a week. I don't want that to happen to you. Like I said, the book is just the beginning. You can leverage it in so many ways, and I want you to ride the momentum and the excitement. Right after your book launches, we'll spend the last week together brainstorming ways to make your book work harder for you. It's not just listing out a whole bunch of activities you see other people doing. I want to help you find the expression that is right for you, your audience, your message, and your strength. So that's what we'll be doing for the 6 weeks. During the entire time, you can get support, ask questions, and buddy up for things like editing through the private Facebook group. If you need If you need more help to nail your message, find a theme for your book, and hone in on your body of work, you can get private sessions from me at a special rate. Honestly, it is a great way to start the new year. Kick off with a focused activity. Solidify your body of work. Finally become a published author and have a book to help you gain visibility, boost credibility, and build a bigger audience. So look at the slide. You can grab your spot here. And if you have questions, the email is there for you to get in touch with me. We start Monday, January 9th. Based on the pricing intention I just shared earlier, I'm offering this bootcamp as a pay what works for you. Have enough skin in the game. Show yourself you're in it to make it happen. Take your project seriously. At the same time, give yourself permission to color outside the line. Treat it as a framework rather than an expensive plan that makes you feel crap if you decide to go creative. So additional instruction about the whole payment thing is on the page, and you can always shoot me an email, ling@businesssoulwork.com, if you have questions. I am not going to do the whole early action thing. It is not about pulling the FOMO thing to get people to buy. It's not about jacking up the price, then offering a discount to make it look like a good deal. Here's why you want to join sooner rather than later. We'll jump right in on January 9th. You don't want to feel like a deer caught in the headlight. I highly recommend that you take the time to read the book, Copywriting Alchemy, that comes with the course, and let it marinate for a while. It'll help you gain the focus and clarity you need to pull your ideas together for the book. Give yourself the time and space for your creativity and originality to come through. The Facebook group is now ready for you, so you can jump in anytime and get support before the bootcamp starts. You know who you are. If you're ready to get your book done, join me for this adventure, businesssoulwork.com, get-published-bootcamp. So thank you for being here with me. Oh, okay, question here. Valley asked the special rate for private session. It's going to be $97 for a 15-minute session. So if you have questions, you can type it into live chat, or you can shoot me an email anytime if you don't want to share your question publicly. I thank you very, very much for being here with me. If you have any thoughts and insights you want to share, do type it into live chat, and I hope I will see you in the bootcamp. Let me see if I can stop and say bye. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Valley. Thank you, everybody.